Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Thou members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people, the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen.
Honorable members, in accordance with Order 13.2, I wish to inform you of the unavoidable absence of Mr. Speaker, and that the first Deputy Speaker shall perform the duties and exercise the authority of Mr. Speaker in relation to all proceedings of the House until Mr. Speaker resumes the chair. Thank you.
Honourable members, votes and proceedings of Friday, the 16th of November, 2018. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Yes, Honourable Member for Adaklu.
Right Honourable Speaker, our colleague Honourable Achampon Richard, page 7, absentee number 1. And just to proceed to page 8, Honourable Beja were both here yesterday.
Page 7, Achampon Richard. Very well. Page 8. Yes, Honourable Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for Techiman South, I see on page 6, I see Iyadom Boachi Henry Yeboah. I'm not too sure whether the Boachi is spelled rightly. Techiman South.
Which page are we referring to?
Page 6.
Page 6.
But 212.
Iyadom Boachi Henry Yeboah. Honourable Member, is that your full name?
Yes, please. Yes.
That is his full name, Honourable Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it's not the fullness of the name. It's the spelling. It's correct.
Right
Yes,
now, Speaker.
is that
That is the correct spelling, please.
very well? Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I noticed that yesterday he was the 212th person in the chamber. And that is also very important.
Yes, page. Yes, Honourable Member, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the point being raised by the majority leader is mischievous. Or what he had noticed is actually not correct, but the correct position is that he was 212 persons who signed yesterday.
They
But
signed
wasn't present in
to
the
be
chamber.
where?
But wasn't present in the chamber.
They signed to be where? To be present in Parliament. Very well. So the statement is correct. 212 members were present, yes.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member is making a statement that is palpably false. The honorable member, whose name I sought to correct, is here in the chamber, and he indeed was in the chamber yesterday. Mr. Speaker, so it cannot be true that this observation cannot be true coming from the deputy minority leader. But it's a minority observation. So
Unless you give me evidence that there was somebody whose name is on the paper who was not in the chamber, I'll take the proceedings, the record, as a true record of the proceedings. All right. Page 8. Yeah, the honourable member for the.
Right, Honorable Speaker, like I said, Honorable Bejra was here, number 20 on the absentee list. Number 23, Honorable Kobna Donko was here, and Honorable Neil Lanti van der Poel, number 40, was also here. The CCTV can prove who was in the chamber. Don't worry about that.
What it means is that if what the honourable member is saying is correct, the number present is more than 212, right? Very well. Noted. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Honourable members, the proceedings. Votes and proceedings of Friday, the 16th November, is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. At the commencement of public business, there being no statements before me this morning, presentation of papers. Item number 4A by the Minister for Aviation. Honorable Member, are you Minister for Aviation? I see Minister for Aviation right to your right.
Audit Committee Annual Statement of the Ministry of Aviation in respect of 2017.
The paper is duly laid and is referred to the Committee on Roads and Transport for consideration and report. Item number 4B by the Minister for Communication. Minister for Communication.
Mr. Speaker, may I crave the indulgence of the chair and my colleagues to have the minister responsible for Western Housing lay the paper on behalf of the minister responsible for communications, who is out of the jurisdiction.
Very well.
Audit Committee Annual Statement of the National Communications Authority in respect of 2017.
The paper is duly laid and it's referred to the Committee on Communications for consideration and report. Honorable Deputy Minority Leader, I want to hear you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering if this report should go to the sector committee, because these are audit committee annual statement. These are in response to the Auditor General report, which was worked on by the Public Accounts Committee and decision taken by the House. Now, the audit committees of these various ministries had to respond to these recommendations and then report back to Parliament. Now, if this report comes to Parliament, why shouldn't it go to the Public Accounts Committee that work on this report, but rather to the Sector Committee? That is my concern. So let's look at it.
Yes, Honorable Majority Leader.
Speaker, the audit report implementation committee, whatever they do, reverts back to the sector committees. Now, that is the convention. The Speaker, that is the convention. Now, this audit committee annual statement is usually juxtaposed against the ARIC. And so whenever they have come here, we have referred them to the various sector committees. If the Public Accounts Committee chairman is now saying that for purposes of congruence, maybe we could as well serve the Public Accounts Committee with a copy, I have no objection at all. But conventionally, that is what we have always done. We have juxtaposed it with that of the ARIC and then submitted same to the sector committees.
Yes, Deputy Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this is audit committee under the PFMA. In the previous FAA, that is Financial Administration Act, ARIC is a committee that is constituted at the sector level, membership that comes from that particular ministry to respond to the audit queries and then observation and recommendations. Now, with the coming out with the PFMA, we have that change to audit committees. The membership now, 3 are 5. 3 from the outside that ministry. Actually, 3 members are from the Institute of Chartered Accountants and the Internal Audit Agency, and only 2 members are from the sector that the audit report or the committee represents. Now, Mr. Speaker, the issues are that the Auditor General audits this ministry or this sector, raise issues, and these issues are reported in the Auditor General report, and then the Public Accounts Committee work on this report and submit the report to the House. Now, we have been asked all the time that what follow-up do we do? And we said the audit committees will have to bring their responses back to us, then we'll do a follow-up. Now the responses come, it's going to a different committee. How do we track to know that what we have recommended on has been satisfied? So if you still want it to go to the sector committee, I don't have any problem, but I think that there's going to be some gap somewhere. We will not follow up to the conclusion and see whether the recommendations are actually being dealt with.
Yes.
Speaker,
Yes.
first of all, this is not a report from the committee that Parliament sets up, arising out of the the consideration of the Auditor General's report. This is not from that committee that all this while we haven't set up. And that is why I refer to the ARIC. The ARIC report, when they came, we referred them to the sector committees. But as I'm saying, if now we are saying that let's have a break from there, and maybe from now refer these to Public Accounts Committee, that's a different ballgame. But that is what we have always done. That's the issue that I've been raising. Because, as I said, this is not ensuing from Article 1876. This report is not exceeding from that committee, mentioned in Article 1876. But if we should decide, if the House should decide that from now on, let's have this arrangement, I will have no difficulty at all with it, except to say that the first ones that came, refer them to the sector committees anyway.
Honourable Member for Wa West.
Mr. Speaker, this particular referral, they said audit committee annual statement of the National Communication Authority in respect of 2017. You see, anytime we pass a bill to establish an authority, we have a reporting system. An annual report is to be presented by the minister with any audited accounts that the minister may add. That is one thing. This other one, either we look at the National Communication Authority Act and see if there is going to be, we have provided for a statement to come from them, or we've set up a committee in it. Otherwise, what the majority leader is saying is that, one, it is something to do with audit. So if it goes to the sector committee, are they going to do the audit, to look at it and recommend to the House, or the committee we already have, which deals with audit reports? What is this one is talking about statement? I mean, it is not, and if they had said report, it would mean that the report that we require from National Communication Authority always to be presented by the minister, separate from the Auditor General's report. So we need to find out exactly what is the nature of this report. If it is the report is the statement, what is the nature of this statement? Is it dealing with ARIC audited accounts reports and reactions from the ARIC implementation committee, or it is arising out of the report of the NCA? Thank you very much.
Yes, Honourable Member for Kumbu.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Looking at the controversy it is engendering, probably you may guide that we step this particular item down, just so we can have clarity as to what it is. I'm a member of the Public Accounts Committee as well. Now, our argument is that this report emanates from the work that we did, and it is a response to queries that were raised in the report that came before the Public Accounts Committee. Now, if we are disagreeing over exactly what it is, as the Honourable Member for Wa West has indicated, we should look at the report, and then we can possibly take a decision on whether or not a referral should be made to the Public Accounts Committee or to the Communications Committee. Mr. Speaker, ultimately also, there could be a joint referral. I don't see the difficulty in having a joint referral as well to PAC and to Communications Committee if we are having difficulty agreeing to this. Thank you.
Well, as at this stage, there's confusion as to which report it is. So the referral I've done will stand. The leaders will look at the report and advise me on Tuesday when we resume. Honourable Majority Leader, item number 5.
Mr. Speaker, I was just having some consultations with the Deputy Minority Leader. He was seeking some clarification. I tried to proffer some explanation, and I thought that we were getting somewhere with that. But the issue that he raised may be raised at the proper forum for the clarification to be given, and then the question could be put, because this motion has already been debated. It's only left for the question to be put. But the issue that he raised, Mr. Speaker, is very germane, and I want the proper forum, to have the proper forum for the issue to be raised, and the relevant person to respond adequately to that, and then the question could be put.
So what's your yes, Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue I will discuss with the Majority Leader on the $1.5 billion facility is an issue about, first, that has been corrected by the chairman, that the total all-in cost for the facility is 20.5. That is correct. And then it's per annum. The issue, however, is that the first tranche will be drawn down in 2018. Then in 2020, another tranche of 500 will be drawn down. And then the third tranche, which is the last tranche, will be drawn down in 2023. My concern, first of all, which is not clear in the report, is that if you commit the entire 1.5, and then the interest or the cost you'll be paying for servicing the debt is 20.5, are we going to pay interest on the entire 1.5 starting from now, or it will be limited to only the drawdown? That is not clear. We need that to be clear, so that we don't pay interest for funds that we don't utilize.
And if you're not going to pay interest,
That
what
is-
do you commit on?
But if you're not going to pay interest on the entire 1.5, and you paid it on only 500, then we should limit ourselves to 500 now. Now, the other issue is that in 2023, will this rate that we are approving now be applicable in 2023? In 2023, situation might change. We might have a better rate, probably 10%, 15% lower than the 20.5. So if we commit the 1.5 now, even though if we are not going to pay interest on the entire money, but only pay interest on the drawdown, in 2023, where the conditions have improved and we could have gotten a better deal, we'll be locked up to pay the 20.5. That's another issue. The third issue is the facility is for 10 years. So in 2023, you have done about 5 years into it already. So does it mean that the drawdown in 2023 will last for only 5 years? That is also not clear. The last point is that when is the repayment going to start? The facility is 10 years. We are taking it 2018. When are we going to start the repayment? That is also not clear in the report. So, Mr. Speaker, if answers to all these questions are done, we can put the question. Thank you.
Yes, Leader. What new are you adding? We've closed the debate on this matter, so this is a decision by the leaders. So I'm not reopening the debate. Sorry. Leader, I want to be clear. So what is your suggestion at this stage?
Speaker, as my colleague said, we're having some discussions, and I told him, as usual with all other loans that we have been taking, not until you draw down, you don't pay interest. Mr. Speaker, that is a matter of common knowledge.
Well, let the report reflect that, so that
it was part of the discussion. But his argument is that it did not reflect in the report, which is true. That it was not covered in the report. Mr. Speaker, I have always lamented that because plenary is supposed to take a decision on these reports, the committee should endeavor to capture as much as possible the issues, the critical issues, to enable us to take the decisions. Unfortunately, many of the reports that we see are very scanty. And so the honorable member is right to raise the issue, even though at the committee level, that was resolved. But for the purpose of the rest of us who are going to take the decision, it's important that we are served with such notices and such important issues should reflect in the report. Mr. Speaker, the other concerns the terms and conditions of the loan. Mr. Speaker, we take loans which spread over 30 years in this House. Would anybody say that the terms and conditions are given at the time of taking the loan? That is how it is done in every loan that we have done. Would anybody say that, okay, let's take a loan and live every year? Because we can't even predict what may happen next year. So take 1 year and wait for the next year, and then you take these things. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that that one really would not come up for discussion. So I would think that in that context, because we have already finished this deliberating on the motion, I think we are now barred by time to revisit these matters. But I think that the issues were explained at the committee level, and we can move on.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable leaders, we are not reopening the debate. The issue I've raised is critical. We are deferring the decision. Let the report reflect these concerns as the leadership have agreed. That's right. In the circumstances, Honorable Leader, your advice.
Well, Speaker, I thought with the explanation you're going to put the question, but my understanding is that you have ruled that the report should now reflect these things in order for us to be fully seized of the facts. And I think that should be appreciated, so that on Tuesday the question could be put. But you should urge the committee, in that case, to reflect these issues in the report and have them late on Tuesday early morning before the question is put. Mr. Speaker. I guess we could bring the curtain down on this, except to remind the Subsidiary Legislation Committee that they have an appointment with the Attorney General and some other stakeholders on these two referrals in respect of the instrument on the special prosecutor. There are two of them. The first is going to be considered on Monday, and perhaps the second one on Tuesday, if they are not able to combine the two. The one on reparations and the one on the terms of engagement. The Speaker, so to remind them again that they should avail themselves on Monday to consider the two instruments.
Before we bring the curtains, I've seen a copy of the report that was late. The report that was laid earlier, the audit report, a response to the Public Accounts Committee's work. And in the circumstance, I'll direct that the report goes to the joint committees of the Public Accounts and the respective sector committees to consider and report.
Mr. Speaker, I believe that given the circumstances, until we define and determine for ourselves a much more proper route, let's resort to this vehicle.
So I'll take your application.
I move that this House adjourns until Tuesday, the 20th of November, at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. I so move.
Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in seconding the motion for the adjournment, I want to remind the majority leader that the budget documents are not ready for members. We are going to have the post-budget workshop, so we need the documents. We need the documents, the budget. We don't have copies, so take note of that. I second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I note that, and I think there were problems, they ran into problems at the Ghana Publishing, some technical problems, and they then were forced to use another outfit to do the printing. I'm hoping that we'll be ready by the close of day, certainly. But in the circumstance, we requested that each member should be provided with a soft copy. And I should think that each member now should have a soft copy. In fact, yesterday I had a discussion with the table officers. The Speaker, I have my own copy on this. I'm being told to provide the relevant equipment, which will ferry the soft copy. The Speaker, but as I said, certainly everyone will have the soft copy. But by the time we get there, I should think that everyone should have the hard copy. Speaker, so it's been moved and seconded. The motion for
adjournment has been moved and seconded. I'm only thrilled by a document that has been discussed extensively by members of both sides, now claiming not to have copies.
Mr. Speaker, but this is instructive.
All in favor of the motion say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The House is adjourned until Tuesday, the 20th of November at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.